yeah, I think this is another huge issue with people is like, they don't do something they love. So of course it's going to suck. Like, what? And I'm not suggesting everyone quit their jobs and, you know.
You have to find the crossroads of some, something you love that also, pays the bills and could have a prosperous future. If you're more concerned about your short-term feelings than your long-term goals, it's not a recipe for success. Today I'm chatting with Kayla Harrison. Kayla's got 2 gold medals from the Olympics. One wasn't enough, got one in 2012, another in 2016, both in Judo. One of the great champions of MMA. He had 16 consecutive victories, I think.
15.
15? Mm-hmm. Only 15. Only 15 in a row, easy. And you've been well known for the judo things that you did extraordinary things that, to the best of my knowledge, nobody's done in that sport. You're that girl.
Yeah, I won America's first gold medal in the sport of judo, and like you said, it wasn't enough, so I went back and did it again. I think there have only been seven athletes to win 2 golds in judo, so wow. Pretty rare.
Wow. What got you interested in that sport to begin with? And your mother was a judo practitioner, I read.
My mom did judo as like a self-defense course in college, and when I was a kid, the story goes that I saw a karate commercial on TV or something, and I was already kind of like, I was crazy. I had a lot of energy. So I was running around the house like trying to karate chop stuff and breaking stuff, and she was like, all right, that's it. I got to get you out of my house. I got to get you into something. And she knew from experience the benefits of judo, and having a martial art as a child at a young age is just, I can't speak highly enough of it.
I would have liked to have done that. My mother, she was concerned that I was also a rambunctious or energetic, I think is the adjective that you used, an energetic child. And I was interested in like wrestling and karate and things like that, where they were like locally available where I grew up. And she's like, absolutely not. Like, she's concerned that I was going to go get myself in more trouble or be more mischievous than I was. So I started MMA November 2020. So I was in my 40s.
Wow.
I was 41.
Hey, you're never too old to start. That's what I love about, like, for instance, judo. I used to run Pedro's Judo Center, so I used to be the office manager there, and I used to teach the class and do intros, try to get people to sign up. And, well, number one, we had a genuine product. But the one thing that I truly believe is whether you're 6 years old and you need confidence, or you're 60 years old and you're just trying to get back in shape, judo or martial arts really has something to offer for everyone. So it's not like you're playing in the NFL, you can find your balance and make it work for you.
Well, your story and results are a lot more compelling in the martial arts field, but it did help me. I was a fat business guy, and I wasn't always fat, but I got fat when they closed the gyms down, and I was extraordinarily focused on some stock market opportunities. So that means I sat around and sleep 3 hours and be awake for 23 hours and eat junk food and make silly amounts of money, which that part was very successful. The part that was less successful is I got to 300 pounds, and I was at 31% body fat and 300 pounds. And less than a year and a half later, I've been training 18, 20 days a month, and I don't know if you've looked into me much, but just an extraordinary coaching team of the kind of the who's who of MMA. So, skill sets got better, but just in the practice of that, I didn't go on a diet. I didn't have like a crazy workout schedule, but just, training 4 or 5 hours, say 5 hours a day of activity or 4.5 hours a day between lifting weights. And so no real, structure or training for a tournament, but I lost, now I'm 12.8%.
Yeah, you look great.
262.
You look great. I saw some old videos
I don't know
compared
about
to
great.
now.
I don't know about
No,
great.
I'm impressed. I was like, that is not who I was expecting. You look good.
So even without setting like a weight goal per se or changing, I did change my diet, but I didn't like go on a diet. I'm just like, you could eat a little less of that.
You made a lifestyle change.
Little lifestyle changes. You can make tremendous progress. So I think that's important, in the context of, martial arts or fitness or business, that there's not like this big moment. I'm sure you get those sort of questions too, like the big moment that changed everything. So, the big moment happened after 10 or 15 years of foundational work, building up. What is that? What did the start look like, or the momentum over time before the big moments in your life?
Yeah, I think that, it's just like you said, there's no snap of a finger, flick of a switch. I didn't just become Olympic champion overnight. It was the small choices every single day. One of my favorite sayings about the Olympics is it's not every 4 years, it's every day. It's every time you open your fridge. It's every time you think about hitting the snooze button. It's every time you want to go out and party with your friends. It's all of these choices that we have in life, and which choice are you going to make? Is it going to take you in the direction of your goal, in the direction of your dream, or is it going to derail you a little bit? And you can always right the ship, but those little choices, I will say blessed. I moved to Boston when I was 16 to train for the Olympics, and the people that were around me were extremely disciplined. A 16-year-old is not naturally extremely disciplined, but I had a support system that taught me, I won't always be motivated, but I can always be disciplined. So, I mean, I will say that for a kid, I was probably unnaturally, no one told me to do my homework. No one told me to make my bed. No one told me to wake up at 5 and go for a run. By the time I was 12 years old, I was doing 2-a-days. And I haven't really stopped since. So it was in me, I think, but it was also around me. So surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, or people who are going to help you be on that path, is crucial.
I've thought about that so much that, I think there's a lot of people that have it in them to be extraordinarily more successful than they choose to be. But they don't want to make those little micro decisions, the tiny little decisions, the 10,000 little things you have to do every week to be,
I see it every day in the gym. I'm sure you see it every day in business, and it's...
Even in fighting, that's like, again, that's not my area of expertise. I'm just, I'll have my little purple belt this summer in jiu-jitsu, and awesome. My offensive striking is pretty good, but if I have to defend myself against a real professional, it's probably not going to go great, at least not somebody my size. So I think I could do really good against some of the small men and most of the women, but there's not a lot of pride to have in that, I suppose. It wouldn't look good on camera.
Probably not.
But even in that, I would laugh so much, I forgot what the fuck I was going to say.
We were talking about in fighting, it's not your area of expertise.
Yeah. But. Even in that context, when I watch the people that are very exceptional, that are the champions and the top contenders, and they stay the top contenders, or they stay the champ for a while, you see the habits and the differences in lifestyle. That it's what you said. They're training every day. Jake Shields is my main coach. That he and I have trained the most together. And I asked him. There was a time in his life he won 15 fights in a row in the middle of his career, and he didn't lose a fight for about 7 years. And then he fought George St. Pierre for the title. At that time, George hasn't lost a round for 30 rounds, and a couple of the judges gave Jake, 2 out of 5 rounds, but not enough to get the decision. But I said, well, what was your life like during that time? And he's like, well, you're not going to go to your girlfriend's birthday. You're not going to go to Christmas. You're not going to. And he said, you fight on Saturday. It's like, Sunday I'd have a travel day. Monday I'd be back in the gym. And he said, other guys, they want to take a month off. They win a fight, lose a fight. They think they should take 2 weeks off, take a month off. Yeah. And I haven't taken a vacation. Maybe 2016, I took a couple of half days. Like a few. My idea of a vacation is I'll just talk on my phone for 6 hours and run a business remotely, but not. But I haven't even done that for years. And so I see that in across contexts in life, that like the people. Absolutely. There's some people that get on the roster at a big fight organization and they think they made it, and
I know.
They kind of already know they're not going to stay there, but they think they made it. So those people are very talented, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to them, but there's probably plenty of people that have that level of talent that if they had a little more oomph psychologically.
Totally capable of more. I think that mental fortitude, especially in this day and age in our society, and it's, there's a difference between being, like, I'm actually sort of I'm going a little bit the other way in my life right now, in the sense that, like, I've been a woman obsessed for 20 years. Since I was 12 years old, I've been training every day, twice a day, it's all I eat, breathe, sleep. That's it. I want to be the best. I want to be the best. I want to be the best. And I have 2 kids now. So I'm learning a balance. But I think that having a balance is not the same as being lazy. Like there's a huge, crucial difference in like, okay, I'm going to make time for my kids and I'm going to make time to go to the gym today. Like this is a choice that I make. Does it mean that I don't sleep as much, or does it mean that I don't get to, my friends are all going up to brunch or something? Like whatever it is, I have to make sacrifices. But these are the 2 things that are a priority in my life. And if I want that balance, then I have to act like they're a priority.
I have clients ask me about Derek, what about balance? What about balance? I heard balance is important. And I have a very vulgar saying that I'll reserve for the moment. But
Oh, no, now I want to hear it.
well, since you asked, I say balance is for bitches. Balance is for fucking losers. And if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're worried about balance and you haven't done anything significant yet, like that's not going to help you be the best at something.
For sure.
You said that word obsessed, which in some contexts gets thrown around the internet or a bit overused, but it is the precise word that if you want to do the sort of things that you've done, like that's what's required. Because there's a few other crazy people out there that are also obsessively working on it.
Absolutely.
And if you're not doing things that they're not, like how would you have a better result? It's like
correct.
It's what's necessary to do that. And I'm not anti-balance in general. I'm not a person that just thinks that you're supposed to be like a martyr to hard work without, choose a project that you'll be highly rewarded for.
Right. Well, I think this is also so important in people's lives. Like, do you know why I train twice a day? Because I love it. This is what I want to do. I spend my life doing what I enjoy. Like, I'm not a martyr. Like, I'm doing something very selfish. I get in a cage and I try and beat people up for money. Like, but I love it. I love the process of trying to become the best, of reaching my highest potential, of maximizing my time on this earth. Like, I thoroughly enjoy that. So it's not, I think this is another huge issue with people is like, they don't do something they love. So of course it's going to suck. Like, what? And I'm not suggesting everyone quit their jobs and, whatever it is, but
you have to find the crossroads of something you love that also, pays the bills and could have a prosperous future. So I go rounds with these people don't even make it to be clients. They're just random people on the internet that criticize my kind of, harsher push for this, productivity. Let's get things done. And if you're more concerned about your short-term feelings than your long-term goals, it's not a recipe for success. And the balance thing is like, if you're, I'm not against, live your life however you want to. The point of having money is money gives you freedom. The greatest freedom money gives you is you don't have to spend time with people you don't like. You don't have to spend time doing things that you don't want to. But if you're broke and there's not a hot prospect on the horizon of, you're waiting to win the lottery or to find a magic genie on the beach or something, like this is not a strategy. It's not an effective strategy. So, maybe have a little less balance, maybe have a lot less balance and find a project that, to your point that, maybe you enjoy what you're doing. I think I have a very natural curiosity about business and stock market and economics and human decision making. And I grew up in a ridiculous household, so I kind of became an amateur psychologist at an early age of seeing how people. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Most successful people come from.
It really helps if
trauma.
You understand how other people. Yeah, it helps if you understand how other people are thinking, and it helps understand your own ridiculousn's when you realize like, all the other people are crazy, and I'm a little crazy too. But how do we channel that to do something useful? And I remember being in college and I had a minor in psychology.
That's awesome.
I was always studying business, but I had minor in psychology, minor in philosophy, and I remember looking around the psychology class, and I'm like, more than half of these people are just here for therapy, like, including myself at that time. I'm like, more than half of these people are here for therapy, like learning like to unwind some weird things that happened in their house or in their life in some way. And I thought that was an interesting insight, and I think it's a factual insight.
It's for sure true. I actually took I didn't graduate from college. I don't have a degree or anything, but after my first Olympics, I had to have reconstructive knee surgery, and so I ended up taking some classes at Harvard Extension. And one of the classes I wanted to take was psychology. And the same thing. At the time, I didn't realize I was trying to therapize myself, but I was in there like, okay, what is the answer? Why am I crazy?
If you could have that curiosity to solve problems like that, or to sincerely understand yourself and others a little better, if you can apply that to other things, it makes life a lot easier. Because if you're trying to beat yourself up and make yourself do something you hate, it's hard to be great at that. It just because somebody else can do it naturally, and that person can work more hours and more productive hours and so on.
It's not a labor.
So there's somebody out there with a similar IQ, even if you're quite brilliant. There's some other brilliant person out there that can do it with less effort if they enjoy it. So you don't have to enjoy every moment of it, and some moments are going to suck, but you have to find a way to enjoy the process, or look beyond your short-term uncomfortableness to, well, what's the bigger goal? What is this leading to? How's that going to change your life, or the life of people that you care about? And if you could do that, you can work a lot harder and you can have a lot better results, I think.
I think one of the big realizations I got to as I got older, so I adopted my children. I became a mom of 2 overnight, and it rocked my world. It just totally changed everything. It went from being, all about me to now I have these 2 children who their life depends on me. And being a mom is fucking hard. It's hard. Being a good parent is a very difficult thing to do.
I can see that.
But one of the things that I realized as I got older is that you need to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. This has been to live is to suffer, right? To live is to shit is gonna go wrong, things are gonna happen. You're gonna get 2 kids dropped off on your door, or someone's gonna die, someone's gonna get sick, you're gonna get fired. To live is to suffer. Every day there's a new indignity. But if you're comfortable being uncomfortable, if you realize that we grow at the edge of our experience, then you're right, life gets a lot more, I don't want to say joyful, but, pleasant.
I think there's a trend. I'm not a political person, and we're not going to end up in a political conversation. Don't worry about it. But I think there's a trend in society right now where, the television and some other sources have popularized the idea that it's cool to be a victim or something. And the exact opposite helped a lot of things. And, the earlier you could adopt a personal responsibility message and just say, well, all right, maybe some things happened to me that were unfair, but what can I do about it? What can nothing I can do about the past.
Correct.
But there are certainly some things I could do in the present to make a better future.
Exactly.
And if you could think about the world a little bit objectively that way, that what are the things I could be doing right now to make a brighter future? And idiots call that a sacrifice. So I was sacrificing for this. It's called an investment. You were investing in a better future. You were doing some things that might be uncomfortable right now.
Even just that slight change of terms is such a powerful mental tool,
It's not just a linguistics game. Try it on in your logic brain and see if it doesn't feel actually more appropriate.
Exactly. That's.
Were you making sacrifices to accomplish your goals, or were you investing in a better future?
Exactly. I love that. That's good. I'm going to use that from now on.
Maybe I'll get you a couple more before you leave.
The Champion interview you just watched is just a tiny teaser from this Champion's extended full-length interview contained inside my comprehensive wealth building foundations course, The 10 Commandments of Wealth. Get inside the 10 Commandments of Wealth, and as a bonus, you get dozens of in-depth interviews with world champions just like this. Leave a comment if you want a business or success question answered, and subscribe for even more winning.